Okay, so for opening those short links, we'll create a separate project. So the way it is going to work, you can have it in same project also if you want, but it's better to have these two things separate. So we can have our app logic and all this on a separate domain maybe, and then this short URL, the opening logic, it can be on a short domain. For example, if you see for maybe LinkedIn, all the links are actually for LinkedIn, but the short link that is lnkd.in. For Google, that is goo.gl. This is the short domain URL. For Bitly also, you can see bit.ly. This is the domain for short URL. So mostly we can have this separate. These can be separate applications. So let's create that project. And on that project, we don't need any UI. We will create that as a ASP.NET Core Web API. Okay. And we'll have just, we'll select ASP.NET Core Web API. Next, web application. So let's call this maybe blazing URLs dot public. Next, .NET 8, yes. Authentication, we don't need any authentication. HTTPS, yes. And let's have all other things default. We are not going to use controllers. We'll simply use a minimal API because this needs only one single endpoint for that short URL. That's all. We don't need anything else. All right. So this is going to be a very small, simple application, ASP.NET Core Web API. Now the project is ready. We have program.cs. We'll go to this program.cs, and here if we see, we have this summary and this map get for weather forecast. What we'll do, we'll simply remove everything related to this thing. We'll remove this model. So now we have just create default web builder, add Swagger gen. We don't need this. API explorer, we don't need this. Swagger UI, Swagger, we don't need this. We can remove all these. So this is a simple application. We are creating a builder, builder.build. We have built the builder. Then we are simply using app.use HTTPS redirection and then app.run. So before app.run, after app.use HTTPS redirection, we are going to have our endpoint. So here we'll say app.map get, because for that short URL it is going to be a get endpoint, and here we can simply have short code. That's all. Now let's define the code for this. So this is going to be a string, string short code. Okay, now we can validate this short code here. So first thing we'll say, although this null and empty, this will not work, so it will be validated by this only. Now what we need to do, get the long URL from the database for this short code, and what we'll do else, we'll add a click to the link analytics, and then we'll say redirect to the long URL. These three things we need to do here. All right. So for this, we want to get it from database. That means we need our DB context, and now we'll restructure our code. Right now, all the database related stuff, all our services, entities, DB context, EF core, all that thing, all that logic and all those files are in Blazing URLs project. And right now, these two projects are not connected to each other. Okay, but we need that data layer and all that stuff to be shared between these two projects. So what we'll do, we'll create a new project, add a new project. We'll choose class library project. Here we'll say blazing urls.data. Next, create. And now we'll move that data folder from our main project to this data project. Okay, so migrations, application DB context, application user, link, and link analytics, these two entities. So all this stuff we are going to move to blazing urls.data project. Let's move it. So I'll cut it from the main project. I'll move it to the data project. In data, this class.cs, this file was created. We'll simply remove this. Now we need this data project in both of these projects, blazing URLs and blazing URL.public. So let's add a reference. So in main blazing URLs project, add project reference, we'll add data. Okay. And same in public project, we'll go to dependency, add project reference, and we'll add data project. Okay. And now we are good. Okay. Now the only thing is we want, because we have moved the entity framework related stuff to this data project, we need to add the NuGet packages related to EF core. We need to move those NuGet packages here inside this project. So let's go to blazing URLs. Here we have entity framework related packages. So Microsoft entity framework core.sql server .tools. So these two projects, these two packages we can move, and identity as well, and diagnostics entity framework core. So all these four, Microsoft ASP.NET Core diagnostics entity framework core, Microsoft ASP.NET Core identity entity framework core, Microsoft entity framework core SQL server, Microsoft entity framework core tools. All these four packages we are going to move to the data project. So let's cut these four from here. Okay, let's go to blazing urls.data. Here I am going to add one item group, and inside this item group I'll simply paste these. All right, save everything. We have not changed these things, the namespaces, so it should be good. Now let's build these projects. So on data, let's manage restore packages, so we can simply rebuild and it will install those packages, and then we should be good. Okay, this project is built successfully, although this is showing this error, it should be fixed. Now let's build the blazing URLs project, the first project. Because we have not changed the namespaces, it should build fine. Cool, it got built. Let's try to build complete whole solution. It should build fine and it should work fine. And rebuild all successful. Let's quickly run it so that we can see the actual existing application that is working fine. Still we can see all the links and all those operations, everything is working fine. Okay, we can see this. Let's go to my links page. We can see this. Edit is working. Delete is working. Show all links. Everything is working fine. So that means this refactoring or re-architecturing is done. So we moved this data, and now inside this public we can have again our logic. Now we have one interface, that iLink service, that exists in this blazing urls.client. So this needs this interface, and we need this interface in this public folder, public project. But there is one point, this iLink service, it has these 4 methods, but we don't need all these 4 methods. For our public project, we just need single method, that is getting a long URL by shortcode. That's all what we need. So we are not going to use this. We will create link service, dedicated link service for the public project. All right, so let's first close all tabs. Let's come to this public project. Here we are going to create a file. Let's call it linkservice.cs, and here let's create a method, public async task. It is going to return a string, let's say a label string, and here we'll say get long URL by shortcode async, and we'll get a parameter as shortcode. Now we need our context. So for context, we need to register that context. So inside this app equals builder.build. So before building it, we'll simply say builder.services.add db context of type application db context. Okay. And inside this, or maybe we can copy this thing from our main project. So blazing URLs program.cs. Here we should have this. We have these two things, connection string and adding a db context factory. So connection string, we are getting it from the configuration blazing URLs connection. So this is in app settings. We'll add this app setting to this public project as well. So let's copy this from our blazing URLs project. So let's copy this connection strings. Come here, app settings.development.json, and here we'll simply copy this. The URL should be same because we are using the same database for both of these applications. All right. So now we have this. After that, we are registering add db context factory. But for this our public project, we don't need db context factory. We can simply use db context. So we'll use just db context like this. All right. So we have registered our db context. Then let's go to our link service. And here inside this link service, we'll simply use constructor and we'll inject our application db context underscore context private read only. And now we have this context. From here we'll simply say var link equals underscore context dot links dot first dot default L goes to L dot shortcode equals shortcode, which shortcode we got. All right. So now from here we will check if this link exists. So we'll say if link is not null, or maybe we can fail early. So we'll say if link is null, we'll simply return null. We will not do anything further. If link is not null, that means we have this link. What we'll do, we'll generate analytics. So link analytics equals new link analytic. We are going to create this. Let's see what all properties we have here. So we'll set link ID, which is going to be this link.id, and then we are going to set clicked at, which is datetime.now for us. And apart from this, it has two property, ID, which will be auto generated, and then link, this is a navigation property. So on this we are good with this thing only. Now if you are adding other fields as well, other additional fields to this link analytic, maybe the referrer or some other things, maybe IP address, all those things, you can add all those here. Now when we have this link analytics ready, we can simply add this. So we'll say underscore context dot link analytics dot add. We'll add this link analytic. Then we'll say await context dot save changes async. And after that we'll simply return link dot long URL, because this is where we need to redirect user to. Now this is ready. Let's extract the interface if you want to test it, and if you don't want to test it, we can leave it like this only. It's up to us what we are doing. Let's extract the interface from this. So we'll add to current file only. Okay. Now we have this ilink service and link service. Let's go to program.cs, and here we'll register this. So we'll say builder.services.add transient ilink service. We'll register with link service. And now we are good. Our service is ready. Now in this API endpoint, we'll do this. We'll simply call this method. So we'll inject our iLink service. iLink service. Link service. Alright. Here we'll say var long URL equals await link service dot get long URL by shortcode, this shortcode. Now here we'll check if this long URL is string is null or empty or white space. Long URL, if that's the case, we know this link does not exist. So we'll simply say return results dot not found. Now if that's not the case, we found this long URL. In that case, we'll say return results dot redirect to this long URL. Alright, now our shortcode service is ready. Save everything and now we'll be good. Now we can test it out. Now before this, if you remember when we were generating the link, at that time we had this domain app settings, right? On which we are generating those short URLs. So this should be the URL of this public project. So in this public project, we'll check properties and launch settings. What is the default localhost port we are using? So we are going to use this HTTPS profile. So here we have this HTTPS 7069. Now we'll go to app setting development.json for our Blazing URLs project, and here we are going to use that URL. When you will deploy it, you will add this domain URL, whatever domain you are hosting this public project to. Okay. Alright, so now new link, whichever we will generate a short URL for, it should use this one. And when we click on it, it should go to this API project. And from here, it should resolve with adding that click. So let's check it now. First thing, now we need to run both of these things, this one and this one. So let's quickly do this. Let's go to Blazing URL solution, properties, and startup project. We'll say multiple startup projects. So Blazing URL, this is the first one. We'll say start, and then public, we'll say start, apply, okay. And now we are good. Let's run. So now we'll simply create a new URL and then we'll click on it. We are here. Let's use this my YouTube URL only. So https www.youtube.com/@Abhay Prince, or let's add something. I don't know, maybe source equals, I just want to check it that it is working, Blazing URL. Alright, so shorten this URL. We have the short URL generated. Alright, let's copy this. We have copied it. We'll go to the next tab and we'll paste the short URL 7069. We'll press enter and you see it redirected to @Abhay Prince. It was there, question mark was there, but then it redirected again. This was YouTube side, but it got redirected to this one. Now because it should track one click, if we go to my links, if we check this one, we should have some ordering logic actually. We'll go to last page. This is the URL. Here you see we have total clicks 1 because we clicked this. We open this in new tab. Now if I again click on this link, it got here. We have this. Now if I refresh this page, we should see 2 clicks here. Let's go to the last page. We have 2 clicks. So the redirection logic is working and our clicks. So that means tracking the analytics, this thing is also working. So now we are good. Now we can see this. Now we can see the clicks and now we can start working on this view details page. All right. But before that, let's have that ordering logic so that we can order these by maybe ID or something, all these active links and all that. So let's quickly go to the Blazing URLs in the main project where our link service is, main project's link service. So here we'll go to, and we can remove this data folder because now this is empty. Service, link service, and get links by user. Here, after take and skip, let's do this. We'll do dot order by descending l dot id. Okay, save it and let's run it. It's here. Let's see my links, and this is the latest link. All right, with 2 clicks. Cool. This is the long URL. Now we should have just 2 clicks only because we clicked on long URL. We didn't click on short URL. Now from here also we can try copying. I copied short URL. If I go to new tab, I paste it. It will go to the long URL, and now we should see total clicks 3. Total clicks 3. All right. Now let's try if we are pasting some incorrect URL, which link does not exist. For example, here I should use something ABCD, and if I press it, we can see HTTP 404. This page cannot be found. If I zoom it, so you see 404, and this comes from our code where we have said that in the blazing urls.public program.cs, here we are saying if this long URL is null, we'll say results.not found, that this URL is not there. All right, so we are good with public thing only. Next thing we'll work on that view details of a single link, that thing. All right, so please hit the like button if you haven't already, and please share this video, and do let me in the comment if you are learning something and what do you think about this project. Do you like this project? All right, and please subscribe my channel.